Good morning, my friends. It is Friday, March 27th, and I don't know about you, but this week has lasted a long time, longer than normal. But I genuinely hope that you have been taking care of yourselves and trying to make your lives just a little bit easier. And taking care of ourselves entails more than just washing our hands, although I genuinely hope that you have also been washing your hands. So today I am trying something different because what better time to try something new than when the world has gone just a little bit topsy-turvy. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Alyssa. I am a therapist and social worker with UK Healthcare. And we are in the age of telemedicine right now, which means that all of our in-person groups and patient interaction has been halted for the safety of everyone during the spread of the coronavirus. I did not realize just how much of an impact that was going to have on me personally and professionally. It has really, really come to my attention this week just how important going over these skills and having these interactions with my clients is to my own well-being and to my sense of feeling like I'm helping, I'm making some kind of a difference. And really holding myself accountable. I realized that going over the skills and really reinforcing them with my clients is a way that I engage in the practice as well. The practice of mindfulness, the practice of self-care, all of those important things that we like to talk about in sessions. So we're trying videos. Maybe they'll work, maybe they won't, but I thought it might be something that we could at least try. That's all we can do, right? So I'm going to be going over some coping skills and some topics that I commonly go over in my group that I lead regularly. I call it a Wise Mind group. It is a DBT inspired group. It is not a compliant DBT dialectical behavior therapy group following the curriculum of Marshall Linehan, which is a fantastic curriculum. If you've ever encountered it or you meet a practitioner of it, I highly encourage you to engage with it. It's fantastic. For the sake of brevity and just for the amount of time that I have, again, this is inspired by DBT group. It is not a DBT compliant group. But I like to go over coping skills that fall into the 4 major categories of DBT because I feel like they are some of the most helpful for us in our lives, whether we're dealing with regular life stresses or complex mental illness or addiction, substance use issues. They're just a helpful set of guidelines for me that I like to use. So the 4 tenets of DBT and that we're going to be loosely following are mindfulness, distress tolerance, emotion regulation, and interpersonal relationships. That's what we're going to be going over, but hopefully in some creative, engaging, interesting ways. Obviously, since we don't have the interaction that we would normally have in a group, these have been adapted, hopefully adapted well for our purposes here, but hopefully I'll get your feedback on that, and these will be helpful as they would normally be in group. So I'm going to go over some skills, maybe one a day for the foreseeable future. They're designed to last about 15 minutes, so they're easily something that you can use in your day just to kind of pepper through the day as just things to add to your toolbox. Everyone has stresses, especially now. So it is my sincere hope that these things will help all of us to remember to engage in the practice of mindfulness, to be kind to others and to ourselves, and really just to take care of ourselves. So I'm going to lean very heavily on the principle of mindfulness, and that's the one we're going to start with today because I really feel like the other tenets of this group really rely heavily upon the principle of mindfulness. So what is it? What is mindfulness? You can describe mindfulness in so many different ways. As many people as you meet that practice this, you will find definitions. But I think the easiest way to think about mindfulness is to consider it to be a state of awareness without judgment. That sounds deceptively simple, but it is not a practice that we as human beings are very regularly in the practice of doing. We, especially in our current society, we like to do a million things at once. We value productivity over everything. We just really pride ourselves on being people who are busy and who can kind of zone out, right? Because life is hard and fast and sometimes painful. So this principle of mindfulness, I also like to think of as not a state of being, but a practice that we are continually engaging in. Okay? It is the practice, it is not the result. And it is something that you do not achieve and then you don't have to do it anymore because you're great at it. I mean, it's like running. If you run 10 miles a day, every day, you maintain that fitness. But if you were to stop for a day, a week, a month, a year, you're going to start losing some of that fitness. Mindfulness is the same for your mind and for your heart. So a state of awareness, of body, of mind, of heart, of thought, without judgment. Okay. So today, the practice that we're going to be going over is a body scan, which I think is a great technique to use to engage with mindfulness. I love it because you can take it everywhere. I can do it sitting on my couch as I am today. I can do it in line at the grocery store. I can do it in my bed before I go to sleep. I can do it with my kids. I can do it while I walk. So I think it's a great tool. You can make it last as long or as short as you want it to. You can do a 3-minute body scan. You can do a 30-second. You can do a 45-minute. I find that longer than about 20 minutes is very challenging for me. So I'm going to try to keep our practice to about 10 minutes. But feel free to experiment with whatever works for you. That's the beauty of these tools. They're meant to be customized to you. So don't ever feel like you're doing them wrong. If they're not working for you, try making a change first before you decide that it's a trash practice. It's not going to work for you ever. Maybe you just need a little adjustment. So the other thing about body scan I will go ahead and tell you is I find that people who love it, and people who hate it. I don't meet a lot of people that are in between, but give it a few tries before you decide if it's a tool to add to your box. I will sometimes use these as openers and closers for future groups, just because that's what I will typically do. So just to warn you, it's worth giving a chance to. So we're going to go over body scan here. So the first step that we're going to that I'm going to ask you to do is to get into a position that is comfortable for you. Okay, so find a space in your house that is a space that makes you feel good about yourself. If your bedroom is really messy and it's stressing you out right now, don't do this in there. It's going to make it harder for you to focus. My living room is kind of my happy place. I have a big mural across from me with all these flowers and the sun is shining through the window, and I'm just comfortably on my couch. But you can lay down, you can stand up, you can sit down, whatever makes you feel good. I do ask that you try very hard not to cross your arms or legs. We want really good circulation for this practice as we go through the steps. Okay. So we're going to start with a couple of very deep cleansing breaths. In through the nose, out through the mouth. If you can imagine counting to 3 as you breathe in, counting to 5 as you breathe out. Very deep 3x5 breathing all the way down into the belly, stimulating that vagus nerve, leading to some relaxation of your nervous system. And we're going to close our eyes if that's something that is comfortable for you. If it is not comfortable for you, feel free to pick a space on the floor, or just something to kind of focus on without really looking at, letting your eyes kind of blur a little bit. But if you're comfortable, I'm going to close my eyes as we do it. It helps me to focus. And we're going to start by bringing all of our attention down to the floor, down into the big toe of our left foot. All of our attention and awareness into the sensations of the toes of the left foot. The big toe, the little toes in between, leading up to the pinky toe. The sensations of the air and the sun on the skin, all the tiny bones, circulation there. Bringing awareness to the top of the left foot and the arch of the foot underneath. Paying attention to the muscles of the foot, any soreness you might be carrying in your ankle. Bringing attention to your shin and your calf. Feeling the muscles and the bones, all the parts of you that hold you up every day. Bringing attention to the left knee, the muscles of the thigh, the hip. Bringing attention across the groin area, the solar plexus, across to the right hip, the muscles of the thigh, the front and the back, the joints of the knee, the calf, the shin of the right leg, the ankle. Paying attention to any soreness you might have there, any tension you may be holding, maybe giving some permission to let that loose without judgment, just noticing. Paying attention to the top of the right foot, the bottom where the arch of your foot is. Maybe noticing the texture of the carpet against your foot, the air against your toes. Bringing awareness to each individual toe of that right foot, the big toe, the next toe, all the way down to your pinky toe. Taking a moment to really pay attention to the sensations of your body beneath your waist. All these bones and blood vessels and muscles that hold us up and carry us any way we need to go. Bringing our awareness back up that right leg from the foot, through the ankle, through the calf and the shin, through the knee, through the hip, and focusing all of our attention, all of our focus onto our belly. Taking a deep breath of air all the way down through the ribs, past the diaphragm, into that belly, a deep belly breath. Releasing any tension that we may be holding there. Paying attention to the sensations of the inside of our body. Noticing each rib, our lungs, the sensation of air passing in and through the lungs without really any effort. Just noticing without judgment. Bringing awareness up into our chest, focusing for a moment upon our heart. Remembering for a moment that mindfulness and heartfulness are the same. Noticing the sensations of blood being pumped by our heart to keep us healthy and alive. Bringing awareness up past our heart, through our chest, into our left shoulder, noticing the muscles there, any tension we may be holding, giving permission to release that tension. Bringing awareness to our bicep and elbow of our left arm, our forearm, the tops of our hands, the sensations of the palm against the arm of the couch or against the side of your body, the air against our fingertips. Paying attention to each individual finger, the thumb, the pointer, middle finger, the pinky finger. Focusing all of our attention on our hand. Maybe expressing a little gratitude for that hand that can reach out and do so much for us. Bringing our attention back up the left arm through the wrist, through the forearm, through the elbow, through the bicep, and through the shoulder. Crossing across the chest, noticing the clavicle, sensations of the skin, pulse. Paying attention now to our right shoulder, moving down through our bicep, our elbow, our forearm, swirling down through our wrist, noticing any tension we may be holding there, without judgment, just noticing. Paying attention to the sensations of our palm and the top of our hand, each individual finger, all the tiny bones that make up that hand. The hands are kind of a miracle. Noticing each fingertip, how sensitive it is to the air. Paying attention to the sensations of the palm as we go back up toward the right shoulder, through the wrist, through the forearm, through the elbow, through the bicep, through the shoulder. Bringing all of our attention across the chest again, up into the throat and the neck. Paying attention to the sensations of the jaw, noticing any tension we may be holding there. Without judgment, just noticing. Giving permission to relax those muscles. Paying attention to the muscles of our face, the sinuses, the space behind our eyes, our ears, the sensation of air coming in through our nose and traveling downward into our body to nourish us. Paying attention to our eyebrows, our hair, maybe noticing the pulse of our temples. Taking a moment to just quietly reflect on all the sensations going on in our body right now. Without judgment, there are no good or bad feelings. There are just feelings, sensations. Maybe reflecting just a little bit of gratitude toward this body and toward this sensation of peace and wholeness. Knowing at any point today that this is something that we can call upon. This sense of peace, this process of attention. Maybe imagining a color filling up our body, all the places that we have just paid such close and careful attention to. Mine is blue, pale crystal blue. And in a moment, when I'm ready and when you're ready, we're going to let that light come out through the top of our head, out into the universe, reminding ourselves again that any point today, that's something we can call upon to bring back into this body, to come back to that feeling of peace and wholeness. So releasing that light through the top of our head. And when we're ready, coming back into our bodies and opening our eyes so we can carry on with the rest of our day. So, that is one example of a body scan. I'm always just a little bit sleepy when I do one that's that length, but I think that's a good thing. Taking a little moment of rest, maybe it's as beneficial as a nap. I don't know, I'm just making that up now. Typically in a group, I would now ask some questions about the body scan. So these are things for you to think about. Were there parts of your body that you found particularly difficult to imagine or to acknowledge? Were there parts of your body that you could acknowledge but were very hard to do without judgment? So when I say focus your attention on your belly, you think, oh God, ew. So are you struggling with thoughts as you're doing your body scan? Do you have a lot of intrusive thoughts? Oh, did I leave the coffee maker on? What are my kids doing? What's happening outside? What's that sound? What's going on? Those kinds of thoughts. Maybe that's a skill that you also might benefit from working on. Or maybe just the practice of engaging in mindfulness is something you can use to not push back against those thoughts, but to say, I notice you, same as I notice my elbow, and then I move along to another thing. Another question you might want to look at is, do I feel different? So think back to a few minutes ago before you started this practice. Did you feel different? Do you notice anything different? When you started this practice, if you had been on video, would your shoulders have been up like this? And now they're down like this. There are a lot of clues that we can find in our bodies that we just don't notice very often, but especially places that you hold tension. So that's another thing to think about. Are there places in your body you were surprised to hold tension? The jaw. I think a lot of people, when they do the body scan, they notice that when I really put all my attention on my jaw, oh my gosh, I was really clenching. So that's just something to think about. Maybe throughout your day, you can take breaks to just do a short practice of thinking and focusing your attention on your jaw and giving permission for it to relax. For a lot of people, that's also helpful before they sleep if you grind your teeth. So those are just questions, think about if it works for you. And if it does, is it worth the time in your day to pause, and give it a try? Do you want to set a goal for yourself? This week, I'll do it once a day. This week, I'll do it one time. Between now and next Friday, I'll do it one time. I want to try this before I go to bed. I want to try it in my bed when I first wake up before I get up and take my shower. Set a goal for yourself. And then really try to pay attention to how it makes you feel. And with that, you can tell yourself you are a practitioner of mindfulness. You have a mindfulness skill, at least one, to use in your life. And that's it. That's mindfulness. So not too scary, right? It doesn't have to be a meditation. It doesn't have to be in yoga. I know a lot of people are familiar with yoga, with meditation and yoga as mindfulness. Like they use those terms interchangeably. And I don't think that's wrong. I think mindfulness is absolutely a component of yoga and of meditation, but you do not have to be doing yoga to do this practice. You just did it, sitting on your couch, laying on your floor. So congratulations to you. You're basically an expert. So ordinarily, I would end group with either a body scan or some kind of meditation, a poem, something to take with you through your day, and just to kind of soften the reentry back out into the world. Today, I have brought a poem for you, although I dropped it off of the couch, so hang on just one second. Okay, all right, my body scan got a little bit disorienting. So I'm going to read this poem that I found earlier this week to end today. It is by Kitty O'Meara. I believe she's a Scottish author. And I read it, and all at once, it just made me feel better. So hopefully it'll make you feel better as well. And the people stayed home and read books and listened and rested and exercised and made art and played games and learned new ways of being and were still and listened more deeply. Some meditated, some prayed, some danced, some met their shadows, and the people began to think differently, and the people healed. And in the absence of people living in ignorant, dangerous, mindless, and heartless ways, the earth began to heal. And when the danger passed and the people joined together again, they grieved their losses and made new choices and dreamed new images and created new ways to live and heal the earth fully as they had been healed. So that is something that I hope brings you a little bit of peace through the rest of your day and through your weekend. I really hope this is a season of rest, of kindness, of creativity, and of heartfulness for us as we kind of await to celebrate the spring. I hope that you stay healthy. I hope that you feel loved. May we be happy. May we be safe. May we be peacefully at ease. And may we all be filled with loving kindness this coming week. So, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.